Hey, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. So today, I've got the ninja, the real estate ninja, Travis. Should I buy a house and how to start? So that's a question I've gotten for many years. Things are different now. In fact, this is the first time I've seen 8% inflation in 40 years. I've been buying and selling real estate more than 40 years. And this is like something that's new to me. It's new to everyone, but I've been doing this a very long time, and it's still new to me. I kind of started in some tough stuff. The interest rates were coming down from 16%. All the homes that I bought through the 80s were 10%. In fact, this little booklet you see right here, that is my first $1 million made in the 80s, and there's not a loan within there, whether I was on the buying or selling end of it, that's under 10%. Everything is 10%. One exception, 9.25 on one loan, but that's it. Anyways, so let's listen to the ninja. We'll see what he has to say, and I'll give my perspective as well. If you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We learn a lot here. Been doing it for a very long time. We'll start that in a moment.
It's the best thing I ever did.
All right, let's get it rolling here.
Say Ninja here. We're going to talk about a question I've been receiving a lot lately, and it's from our new newsletter. People are diving in and because we asked them to ask questions that I could answer, and it's about how to buy a house. And this is a great question to ask because, and I'd love to hear your thoughts real quick. If you are interested in buying your first ever home, just type first.
So I want to say something on this. Look, the very first property I ever bought, I bought an industrial building. Okay, I bought it for $110,000. I was 19 years old. I had no credit and I had no money. Now, that's where the creative financing comes in, right? Creative financing, a lot of fake gurus use that term, and I know Travis is critical of fake gurus. You don't see me collaborate with anybody fake. In fact, someday maybe I collaborate with you, Travis, if you want to share the stage. But I've been doing this since the 80s, and like I say, my first deal, owner financing. That's what made it possible. And interest rate, 10% interest. It doesn't matter what the interest rate. It matters what the delta is between what you can rent it for and what your payment is. Really, that's the biggest delta, right? What you can rent it for and what you can, even if it's, whether you're the one renting it from yourself or whether you're renting it to somebody else, ideally you got to have a little margin in there. So let's listen.
You're looking to buy a new home, hit new. And then I'm just curious how many people want to buy rentals, right? So type rentals. And the reason why I want to sort of get a feel for who clicks on this title, because I want to answer this specific question and make sure that I'm answering it correctly. So first off, buying a home is awesome. I think it's amazing. I think barring HOAs, there's a lot of freedom. Homeowners associations I'm referring to. I think it's important that everybody owns a home because it keeps the government at bay. It keeps big corporations at bay.
Yeah, I don't know about the corporations, but I'll tell you what it does is it builds equity, builds your credibility. If you can afford a safe place, right? You want to, homes. Listen, homes are beautiful. I've made millions of dollars on homes. In fact, I bought 3 in the last 5 months and made over $300,000 on those. Some I just put into the rental space. That's the difference. In fact, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to jump to Zillow here in a little bit, and I'll kind of show you. You can take a look at, what you pay for a property versus what you can rent it for versus what your payment is. So very important stuff. It's just math. That's what I love about real estate is it's just math. Everything can be figured out. So bump them up. Just speed it up a little bit.
Why do I say that? Because owning a home, you are your own king. It is your castle. You are in charge of it. You are in command of it. You can make money from it. You could lose money with it if you do it wrong. But it is very important, I believe, that people, and I don't believe that everyone should own a home. Like I don't believe that everyone has the right to own a home because rights come with blood, sweat, and tears. That's how our country was built, off the backs and the lives of amazing human beings, right? So everybody, if they try hard and they work hard, should be able to buy a home. Here's the thing. Home ownership has been sort of distorted in the last 20 something years since George Bush came out and said that they wanted to push everyone to buy a home because they wanted to fuel a housing bubble that then popped. And then the biggest corporations, led by ex-politicians, quite frankly, honestly, gobbled them all up. And it's a horrible thing.
He's getting a little conspiratorial on me, but
percentages of home ownership drop actually pretty significantly after the Great Recession. And I want to change that. I want to flip that on its head. And I want during this next real estate crash for more and more people that do not to own a home, but you have to do it right. So what we need to do is a couple different things. We need to change the way you perceive home ownership. And that is, and I saw this when I was a real estate agent, and I was the worst real estate agent ever. People get so emotional when buying a home. A home should not be an emotional thing, but it should be an exciting thing. I know that sounds crazy, but
So here's the deal. He's right about that. A home is generally an emotional purchase. Now, it's okay for it to be a little bit of an emotional purchase if it's for you, if it's for your home. I mean, this is what drives home ownership for many, is being in a safe neighborhood for their kids, maybe near their parents, family, all that sort of thing. Some people, the ideal situation is live right next door to their best friend and their in-laws. And I have one of the students in my class has exactly that going, and he's got a gate between both backyards. And he helped them both. One of my students helped them both get a very good deal on their property. But emotion in business, you got to wipe it out. It's got to be gone. So like when I buy a property, and it's very cut and dry, I'm looking at the numbers. In fact, I'm going to give you an example here. Here's a home, and I just grabbed this one randomly, $379,000, right? This property, if you go down here, they got just some basic information, and none of it's exact, but it's a point of reference. You go down here and you'll see they estimate the home is worth, and just say $368,000. It varies. It looks like it had been up as high as, I don't know, it looks like maybe 420, and it dropped below, and now here we are, near 400, and it's kind of dropped down again. That's where they got right there, 379. Again, none of this is perfect. Zillow, Redfin, they're a point of reference. They're not always exact. They're definitely not always exact. I bought properties for more than their rates and sold them for twice what I paid for it. And on the other hand, I've seen things completely overpriced by them. But anyway, I think this is fair assessment on it. But what I want to get at it is, so look at right here. It says the monthly payment calculator. And again, this isn't even qualified in as much as how much they're putting down, but let's just assume they're thinking people are putting 10 or 20% down, something like that. And then when you go further down, they're talking about the walk score, that sort of thing. What I want to get to is the rent here. $2,567 is going to be the rent, the payment on this thing. And if you want to rent it, they estimate, and this is fairly close, $2,194. So just say that's $2,200 roughly. And to buy is going to cost you close to $26. So there's a $400 difference based on that alone. So this is where the emotion maybe gets qualified. In other words, if you can afford it, you go, you know what, I'm going to live in this place. I can't rent it for what I'm paying for it, but you're going to have the benefit of a write-off. You get to depreciate the asset that you have, and that will benefit you with your W-2 income, because now you got to write off. You got to send it to depreciate. Anyways, so these are the things you got to consider, right? So it costs you $400, and this is paying full retail. This is why I never pay full retail, by the way. It is, you can basically see it's more expensive to buy than to rent. Plus, you got to throw some money out of your pocket for the down payment, for the deposit. So just something to think about and consider. And let's go back to Travis.
Take the emotion out of buying a home, and it's numbers. I see all of the people that I saw that lost their homes in 2008, very few of them lost it due to losing their job. What I saw were people that were so over leveraged, so overextended that their income changed or was tweaked a little bit. And they were so on the edge, even when they're fully employed, having gainful employment, on the edge of losing it. All right. Because it's one thing to have a house payment, it's another thing to have a car payment, student loan payment, credit card payments, things like that. Then I saw people, I'm not joking, have a refrigerator payment.
So you know what? The thing is about that 08, 09 crash, I had tens of millions of dollars in real estate at that time. And I just borrowed $3 million from Wachovia, who also went out of business, by the way. I got a loan, I believe it was about 5.5% on $3 million. And then from the time that crash happened, within, 6-8 months, when the Fed made some strong changes and they dropped the interest rate 3%. So just that 3% drop saved me $90,000 a year. Now, I was suffering in as much as I had some tenants that were suffering a little bit. I had a restaurant that I had just bought that with the intention of flipping. I couldn't flip it because restaurants are kind of a generally in business are kind of a high credit risk. Most restaurants don't survive, like most businesses don't, but they're a little bit of especially high risk. But let's keep watching.
I don't care who you are if you think that getting a 0% financing deal on a fridge is good and you've got that $1,000 in the bank, I can pay it off anytime. Yeah, just go down and pay cash for it. And this is why. Because when you have that attitude, I've got the money and I've got all this debt, when something gets triggered during an economic crash and all of a sudden you got to use that $1,000 and you forget, you're like, I had to use it for something else. Well, guess what? You still got that payment. And
okay, I have a little different take on this. Listen, it's kind of a reactional thing. When you get all of a sudden the economy shaky and you got a little bit of money in the bank, and I even have a little of this, but I resist it. I'm telling you right now, I don't pay off. So this is actually, Travis, maybe me and you can talk sometime and we'll have compare different strategies for thoughts on this. But I don't pay off. In other words, I could pay off houses, I could pay off a lot of different things that I have. But I don't, because what's more important is to have the cash in the event I lose my job. And I don't have a job, but I'm an investor. But if you do lose your job, it's better to hold on to the cash, because you know what, you can make a payment, but if you run out of cash, you can't make a payment. So in other words, I'm not saying go into debt, maybe go buy a used refrigerator or something like that. But again, the fact is that as long as you have your cash, that'll carry you through the tough times, right? They always say save money for a rainy day. You don't generally think that when the rainy day comes, you go paying off everything. Now you don't have any money to endure the storm. So little difference in the thought process between me and Travis.
So I saw a lot of people lose at home. When in this market, there are a lot of people in fear because they're like, homes are too expensive. So this is what you do, just like everyone else. And this is what causes a real estate crash. You don't buy. It gets too expensive. I see people that are getting into homes right now that cannot afford it. And they are being told by mortgage people, don't worry, you can refi soon. The Fed's going to lower rates. You tell that to people.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly where he's going with this, but the bottom line is it's just numbers. And a lot of people don't qualify for the property that they want to buy. You know, the mortgage guys, the guys that sell the mortgage that put you into your loan, and the guy selling it, like me selling a property to somebody else. Yeah, I might make an arrangement to do a buy down. In other words, all I'm doing is I'm paying their interest ahead for 3 years. So it gives them a false sense of what the payment is. But if if at the end of that term, of those couple of years that I've done a buy down, then all of a sudden the rate gets back to where, to what the fair market is. Then they get in trouble. And I don't like that. And it really doesn't make sense when people do a buy down. This is really silly, by the way. When you do a buy down to lower your payment, you're taking your cash out of the bank, right? To buy it down. Or maybe you're sucking the equity out of your place. But either way, if you've got cash, you don't want to take cash to buy it down. You're better off to use that cash just to pay. Just go, yep, it's going to be tough for a little while. And have that extra cash on hand just for that. But the buy down really serves the seller more than anything. So when the buyer comes in, you can buy their rate down so it feels like it's 5%, but really it's 8%. But again, that's strategic on the seller side to just get it off their plate and get your money. So let's keep watching.
And you're gonna have a deluge of people diving out of the market or not able to pay their payments because the interest rates were too high for too long. We see when real estate crashes or stocks crash, it only crashes because of one thing. People stop buying. That's it. I know it sounds crazy, but that's it.
We've always been taught, trickle-down economics, and it's a real thing. There has to be things moving. Money has to be moving. And right now, we're in a situation where people are holding on to their mortgages, which they should. This sub-2 BS is a bunch of bullshit. Listen, I bought my first property sub-2. I'll do a video on that too. But this sub-2 stuff is silly in a big way. Sub-2 is an opportunity for people that can't afford their home to sell their home to people that can't afford to buy a home. So you got two people, one that can't afford their home and somebody else that can't really afford to buy their home unless they, assume their payment. And like I say, you're one air conditioner going out from being screwed because the air conditioner costs you, sometimes 6 months rent. Anyways, off subject here. Let's get back onto this with Travis. Yeah, it's important that money's being made. That's kind of, what stops buying is if money isn't being made. And that's why I consider what we're in right now is it's just kind of settling. And what's happening at the same time is the interest rates aren't dropping, but what's happening is people are getting settled into the higher prices, $18 for a hamburger, that sort of thing. It's like sticker shock, right? For a lot of people that see these numbers. Gas is very expensive. We got some problems. Obviously the country's not run well, but that what I call settling in is people are starting to get paid more. I'm paying people more, right? I've given a few people a raise, that are overdue anyways probably, and others, I've had to let go. So these are the changes that you make, but it's kind of that settling in, getting used to, okay, that's what we really want. As business people, we want stability. Bad or good, we just don't want instability. So that's why, when businesses don't make many changes or many investments when things are unstable, because they don't know, we like to know what we can count on. Certain tax cuts, things that are out there. So interest rates as well. So anyways, let's keep watching.
When volume dries up, when transactions dry up, everything falls. Because you want to know why? On the flip side of that transaction, when you aren't dealing with the buyers, you always have people that want to sell things. And when it comes to real estate, people die, people move, jobs change, or they just want to get out of California or New York because they're nutball. Sorry.
Divorce.
I know how it feels. Type 4 if California ball. I'm just curious to see what everyone thinks. Even if you live there, trust me, I lived there and I know what it was like. All right, my point being is this. When you're looking to buy a home, if you have to buy a home right now, you should always buy a home where if you put the minimum down and you get a 30-year fixed mortgage, get a 30-year fixed. Look at all the fours. My point being is your payment with everything included, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, all four of those lumped together, that payment should be the same or less than you would be renting for. That's the number one rule. Numero uno. Do not buy a house because the paint looks really.
That's a good frugal. I mean, I have a higher standard than that. I don't buy anything that I can't make $100,000 on, or at least I stay as close to that as I can. And so just to give you an example. So look, I'm going to just show you here real quick some properties. Yeah. So look, this is a neighborhood. You know, I've bought 16 houses just in this one neighborhood, and this is all fairly recent stuff in the last 5 years. Just even in the last 5 months, I've bought 3 of these I bought, all three $100,000 under market. In fact, one of them, give you an example, take a look at this one. This one here, we'll go to Zillow on that one. That one I paid $225,000 for, and this is a recent purchase. In fact, if you guys watch, you'll see the father-son investment, and you can see that. But so that one, you can take a look. Their estimate on this is $448,000. I think that actually is fairly accurate. I paid $225,000 for that property. $225,000. And so the ability for me to make a nice delta as a rental is obviously extremely lucrative, but also reselling it. The difference is I want to defer the taxes. In other words, there's no reason to sell this until I have something else to buy. And then we do what's called a 1031 exchange, where you roll all of the profits from this asset, which in this case won't be 200. I put some money into just for sake of talking. Let's just say it's 100 or 150. I can roll that money into another asset and defer all the taxes. So, but in this situation, I can sit on a $448,000 home that I paid $225,000 plus through, maybe $30, $40, $50,000 in it to keep it, to get it up to par. But now I've got an asset with $150,000 equity. I've got a nice lucrative rental because, I got it for about half of what it's worth. And then when the time's right, when I find something to buy that's greater than this 448, I tie it up to buy it. Then I sell this and I roll that, $200,000 equity into buying this new asset. And then again, rinse and repeat, right? In fact, I do this pretty regularly. I'll buy sets of homes in one rental entity, and then I'll go find something to buy, and then I'll roll all three into that one purchase. In other words, I would roll these three into buying a bigger, more beautiful asset. In this case, an industrial building was the last one that I did. So anyways, we'll wrap this up.
You can do a lot with some spare time and a gallon of paint from Home Depot on your own. Just buy a fixer. Build that.
Yeah, and so he's right. Listen, one of the things I tell you, when it comes to fixer-uppers, just do the absolute minimum. In fact, you can, when this is done, you'll see a video I just did, another house that I just bought 2 weeks ago. So, hey, thanks for watching. Good job, Travis. And Travis, I've reached out to you. I haven't heard back from him. I hope I do soon. Anyways, Travis doesn't like the fake gurus, and neither do I. So it's nice to see somebody that may have a different perspective, but that's okay. If you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Get into one of my webinars. You'll see, I'll show you how I made my first million in the 80s, and how I've made tens of millions of dollars, and I own all the kinds of assets that you all drive by every day. Commercial, industrial, land, apartment buildings, houses. There's more houses than anything out there. Always an opportunity to make money on houses. See about getting in the mentorship. Take a good look at the mentorship. Look at all these new millionaires in my class, new real estate millionaires, people that have only been, doing this 2 or 3 years, changed their life in a tremendous way. Some of them have more income coming in from their real estate now than they did from their jobs. So it's a great thing. I look forward to maybe seeing you in one of those webinars. Please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Bye. I want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate. I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, flipanythingusa.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face-to-face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.